Morning. Another day, another real world test. Today we're doing on the new Sony LinkBuds with the very unique donut hole shape in them. We'll talk about that more later. But if you're not familiar, I'm gonna use these earbuds throughout my day. We'll talk about some of the features that I like and don't like, check in on the battery. I'll also use my little ear contraption to do the best that I can to let you actually hear what they sound like to some degree. And we'll test a few things out with that as well, all while we explore a new hood. And today, I'm actually in a whole different country. For the first time in 2 years, I'm in Barcelona in Spain for Mobile World Congress. So we're gonna go check that out a bit too. But first things first. Coffee, check. And this is actually one of my favorite coffee shops that I always come to every year I come to Barcelona for Mobile World Congress, called Federal Cafe. They make excellent coffee, there's a good vibe, and you'll find a lot of people working from the common table, at least during the weekdays. But they also have just surprisingly good food. On this trip, I keep eating the shakshuka, which is a dish of eggs baked in a tomato sauce, usually served with bread. It's so good. But while we're here, let's talk about the design of these earbuds, because they're pretty unique. Firstly, the case is super small, which I really like about it, and it has a very distinct feeling to it, which is due to the fact that it's made from recycled plastic. It kind of reminds me of the Microsoft Ocean plastic mouse, or any other recycled plastic product for that matter. It's a very matte, kind of, plasticky feeling. The buds themselves are also super tiny, which is great, and they look good to me and unique thanks to that small hole in each of them, which we'll talk about shortly in more detail. Now, because they have that circle and they don't necessarily fit into your ear canal, they come with these little nubs, I guess, that you can fit onto them in a bunch of different sizes. And it's super important to try them out and get the right fit, is because they don't sit in your ear canal like normal earbuds, which would then use that as an additional support to stay in your ear. The plastic nub is the only thing keeping them in your ear, sort of. Now, I found that one size I used felt okay, but then if I moved too much or even chewed, they would slowly come loose. After experimenting more though, I figured out the right size and actually had to use a different size, oddly enough, for each ear, as apparently my ear holes are not the same size. But let's head out of here and head to the Fira, aka the convention center here in Barcelona, to check out Mobile World Congress and talk a little bit more about these buds.
How come in every city in the world I've been to, we all have the same pigeons? How is that possible?
This is the Columbus Monument, and it's meant to represent Columbus's first voyage to the Americas. Now, he came back and reported to Queen Isabella I and King Ferdinand V here in Barcelona. And it's funny because he's pointing out to sea, and I think a lot of people think that he's pointing towards the Americas, but he's not. He's pointing in a very different direction. He's pointing towards Algeria or somewhere. Apparently, they just made him point out to sea because he had a boat. Welcome to Mobile World Congress. I have to admit, this is probably my favorite convention on the junket of conventions that we go to every year. It's the perfect size, firstly, and the convention center itself is so well organized. It's just a bunch of adjacent halls, 1 through 8, and there's a catwalk that goes above all of them. And you can look through the windows and go, oh, maybe that's where I'm supposed to be. And you just take the escalator down into that hall. Also, the media center, where all of the press hang out, and there's stations for computers and faster Wi-Fi specific for the press, is directly in the middle on that catwalk. Brilliant. Okay, and while we're here, let's talk about the concept about these earbuds. And that is the idea of being present while still being able to hear audio, which is kind of similar to the Galaxy Buds Live concept that we saw not too long ago, but it feels like Sony kind of leaned more into the concept here. Now, the donut shape means that the audio is not being played into your ear canal directly, but more kind of at your ear canal. This means you should be able to hear more of what's around you, and obviously makes things not great for situations where noise canceling is important, like a plane or transit, etc. They don't even have passive noise canceling like most earbuds do, which simply is because they block some of the sound from going into your ear because they're wedged into your ear canal. The idea is that you use them when you're, say, working from home and you need to hear your kids or your spouse yelling for help because of your kids or your roommates, or maybe you're in an office and you need to be able to hear your coworkers without them having to like flail at you in a distance to get your attention. And I actually found them pretty helpful here at the Fira, for one. As I'm walking around the convention center and I'm checking things out, I can keep listening and kind of jamming out to my music, but then if somebody needs my attention or they're trying to talk to me, it's pretty easy to tell when that happens, and I can double tap to pause the music, which we'll talk about the controls in a bit. Now, I've been using them for a little over a week now, and I have to admit, they sound a lot better than I thought they would, especially considering how small they are. And I think that has something to do with the fact that they're not actually putting the sound directly into your ear canal, they're kind of just putting it around the outside of it. So it's more like a speaker close to your ear, and I think that helps somehow, if that makes sense. But while we're here, let me use my little ear trick and see if I can at least try to get you guys to hear what maybe they sound like compared to some other earbuds. This is me talking without any earbuds in, so you can hear what that sounds like. So we back in the club with our bodies rocking from side to side, side to side. So we back in the club with our bodies rocking from side to side, side to side. So we back in the club with our bodies rocking from side to side, side to side. So we back in the club with our bodies rocking from side to side. And this is me now talking while you have the LinkBuds in your ear at a normal volume, pretty close to the ear. And this is me talking close to the ear with ambient sound on, so you can hear what that sounds like. And this is me talking close to the ear at a regular volume with the AirPods Pro with transparency mode on, so you can hear what that sounds like. This is me talking close to the ear with the Galaxy Buds Pro in with ambient sound on while playing music, so you can hear what that sounds like. Okay, this is kind of dumb, but this like crappy little packaged sandwich brings back so much nostalgia for me. I used to grab these every year when I was covering the event and I was doing a lot of news and I was like filming constantly, and the press room is like right down the hall, and this was the only thing I could get quick enough, eat, and then run back out and start filming again. And now this little mixto sandwich, they call it, which is ham and cheese basically with mayonnaise on it and like, you know, white bread, it just brings back good memories, and I have to have one before we leave. It's not very good, but 2018 Mobile World Congress. Okay, and that's a wrap on the last day of Mobile World Congress. It was obviously like a little slower today because it was the last day, and most people go home way before this. But honestly, it felt normal, very weirdly. Like CES did not feel normal. This felt like busy as it normally was. The only difference was everybody had these on. So, I don't know, kind of happy about that. Feels like maybe things are gonna go back to normal at some point, you know? This is the Arenas de Barcelona, and it's a very unique shopping center that used to be a bullfighting rink up until 1977. And we're here because some people I know here at Mobile World Congress invited me to a last dinner before I leave tomorrow to head back to New York City. And we're at a restaurant called Mussol, which is Catalan, which is the other language that is spoken here in Barcelona besides Spanish, for owl. And while we're here, let's talk a little bit about how you use these earbuds. To change settings for the earbuds, you can use the headphones app that Sony has, and you have a ton of options in there, which is nice. From an equalizer to DSEE support, 360 audio, and just the usual things that we're used to seeing from Sony headphones. But we also have their speak to chat feature, which is relatively new, but it pauses the audio temporarily whenever it catches you talking, and then it turns it back on after a set time, just like it did with some of their other headphones. Hi. It's convenient, it's just only not great if you sing to yourself, by the way. So you can always just turn it off though. To control the headphones, you can double tap or triple tap on either earbud and have that set to various things. Now I have it set to pause and play when I double tap, and triple tap to get the next song on the right ear, and volume up with a double tap and volume down with a triple tap on the left ear. But there are a few different options for you to customize it yourself. Now there is no single tap oddly, which would have been nice because it would just add 2 extra commands that I could use. But I'm guessing maybe it was triggering too often, and so Sony just didn't give you the option. Now, something that is kind of unique with these earbuds that I thought was interesting was you can turn on a setting so that you can tap in front of your ear instead of tapping on the earbud itself to do those same commands. It's a nice touch, and it takes some getting used to, but when you do, it's pretty good. It just takes a fraction of a second longer than tapping the buds directly, which of course you can still do. I just thought it was clever though. Okay, calling it a night. And I will say, during my usage with the LinkBuds, that the battery life is pretty much what Sony says it is, which is 5.5 hours using the earbuds by themselves, and then you get another 12 hours by putting them back in the case for a total of 17.5 hours. Now that is on the lower end for most wireless earbuds out right now, but it has such a tiny case and the earbuds are so small, it's kind of not a bad trade-off for most people, I think. Now, honestly, I like the earbuds. I think they're unique. I think it's different. The fact that they are as light as they are, the case is as small as it is, it's like they're just very easy to carry around. When you turn the volume up enough, you're not hearing much outside of the earphones except like loud noises like a horn honking or something like that, which you want to probably hear. And if you turn the volume down, you can kind of experiment to get like a mix of the outside world with your music or audio, whatever you're listening to. And so in that way, I feel like they do actually deliver on this interesting concept. And if you're someone that maybe works from home or wants to go running with these and just be more aware of your surroundings, they're not a bad choice. The only hesitation that I have is that at $180, which is what they cost, I was actually able to find the Apple AirPods Pro for under that, as well as the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro for under that, and even Sony's own WF-1000X Mark IVs for just a little bit more than that. I'll leave links to all of those below and the best prices that I could find for anyone who's curious on those, as well as the LinkBuds themselves. So at that point, if you are someone that travels a lot like me or is in a situation where you do also want active noise canceling and don't want to have to carry 2 different earbuds for those 2 different scenarios, you can always just turn on transparency mode. And I know what you're thinking, transparency mode pulls in sounds with the microphone, and that's a lot, but all of those devices I just mentioned actually have controls to customize transparency mode, so you can turn it down or up depending on what you need and get kind of a similar concept to what these do. But if you don't need the active noise canceling or don't want it for some reason, then these aren't a bad option to at least check out. And there you go. Let me know what you guys think about this video, about the format, about these buds. Would you buy these little holy buds? Let me know in the comments below. Always appreciate hearing from you guys. If you like the video, though, please thumbs up it or share it. It's greatly appreciated. Also, check out the rest of the channel. If you like what you see there, please subscribe and ding the bell so you get notified when I do new videos. As always, regardless, thanks for watching.
Animal motorcycle. Even on top of a bullfighting rink, I can hear the motorcycles. It's meant to kind of represent every place I go.